All right, good morning. I hope you all are doing well enough this morning. It's a pretty big surprise to wake up to that much snow. I knew it was going to snow, but my goodness. So we'll have a nice little cozy yin practice. The practice is about an hour long, and typically what we do for yin is about 45 minutes of movement and then 15 minutes of silent meditation. Just because silent meditation is absolutely wonderful, but I'm going to do a little bit more guided meditation for this yin practice, just so that we're still communicating, even though the space that I'm holding is a little bit different. So stop. Okay. So if you've got your bolster or pillow, you're going to set it up at the top portion of your mat, and there's a block here for the head. So your chest is going to recline back on the block. And if you have your strap close, you'll just place it off to the side. Go ahead and lie back with your chest supported and the head supported. Feel free to have the knees bent. So as always, I do my best not to have too many interruptions, but as you can see, the dogs are going to come in and out. Hopefully there won't be any barking, but can't promise anything. So as we recline supported, you can go ahead and look left and right. Maybe even sway the knees back and forth. And then just start to settle in with this supported back bend. Go ahead and scan the body from the crown of the head through the face, looking for any tension. You can move, wiggle, make weird faces. Move through the jaw, maybe even stick the tongue out. And then start to soften the features of the face. Do the same thing again if you need to move through the neck, and then softening the back of the neck. Shoulders, if you want to roll through the hands, squeeze and release. Do the arms to release any tension in the shoulders and the arms, the hands. Same thing with the legs, sometimes squinching in and then extending. And then maybe letting the legs come all the way out. So once we've scanned the body, go ahead and start to shift attention and awareness to the breath. The spine is nice and heavy. Paying attention to the rise and fall of the chest. In our yin practice, we work through the layers of the body, from the physical layer down through the skin, the muscles, the bones, tissues, tendons, to the more subtle layers of the body, the energetic layer of the body. So here we'll just start with the physical. Noticing warmth and coolness on the skin. Tension and relaxation. Noticing anywhere that's feeling a little sticky or caught. For me this morning, it's on my right hip a little bit. Just paying a little bit more attention. Maybe it's a knee, or maybe you woke up feeling just totally awesome. So we'll use the awareness of breath to pass a little bit of breath energy to those places that might feel sticky or stuck. And softening the features of the face. Noticing the breath traveling from the nostrils softly down the throat to the lungs. We're going to stay here for another 10 rounds of breath. Really starting to drop into the experience of stillness. Maybe the outer thighs start to soften a little bit. You can move the legs, of course. Take the legs wider, or if it feels better, you can slide the heels to the hips. Another 4 or 5 inhalations and exhalations, just like this. One more long, deep breath. We'll move off of the props, but before moving, I'm going to set an intention and plan for how you're going to move so that we're staying with the embodiment breath even through transitions. So envisioning moving off to one side, envisioning where the props are going to be placed, and we're going to come back directly onto our backs. Go ahead and do that. We're going to use the bolster again in a little bit, so you can just place it off to the side. And then roll back onto your back. And draw the right knee into the chest, followed by the left. Just holding on to the shins, and if you'd like to, we're going to use our strap in a moment. You could strap around the shins, feeling the low back nice and heavy on the mat. Shoulders out of the ears, head heavy. And then we'll take our strap, if you have one. Now you could always use a belt or the blanket. Strap the soles of the feet and reach the feet up towards the sky. You can pedal through. We want to keep the legs at about a 90-degree angle. You're more than welcome to completely belt the feet so that the arms can rest. And we're going to stay here, reaching the soles of the feet up, of course, taking a little bend in the knee if that's better for you. So this practice of yin, we're holding these positions even though they might be a little uncomfortable, and we're sitting within that discomfort, making little micro changes so that you can sustain the essential form, the essential shape. And as we hold, just noticing how the body starts to shift and change. Maybe that it's even starting to grip a little bit, so we use the breath to soften. Keep reaching up. Of course, if the feet need to separate a little bit, go ahead. And as we hold a little bit longer, start to notice emotionally or how you're reacting to the longer hold. If you're really wanting to make all the changes that you can to get as comfortable as you can, or if you're able to sit a little bit longer in the discomfort. And so we'll take 3 long deep breaths together. Big inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, settling into the form. Another inhale, exhale, and again. Just notice how the body lands in that last exhale. Stay. Soften for 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly release the legs down. Relax the low back. You can slide the feet out from your belt or strap, and we'll pause in a neutral body. Just noticing the effect on the legs and the low half of the body. We'll slide both heels to the hips again. This time we're going to go into a half happy baby. And you're more than welcome to use your strap. So we hug the right knee in, and this time we'll strap the sole of the right foot. And draw the knee towards the outside edge of the body or the outside edge of the mat. You'll notice that the left hip wants to come up. So there are a couple of options. You could actually take a block and get a little bit higher so that your left hip is on the block. If that doesn't feel quite right for you, the dog's going to bark, just a warning. Then you could place the block underneath the right hip or a foot. Scotchy, come here, Bubba. On the left block. I'm sorry, the block on the left. So lots of options to support the hips here. And this never needs to be the deepest version that you've ever had of this. You could extend the leg up. You can hold on to the back of the thigh and just let the calf and foot kind of flop. So something that you can sustain as we hold this for another 7 breaths. Scotchy, come here, Bubba. Staying with that. Staying in there, happy baby. Three more inhales and exhales. And then you'll let that right leg come down, followed by the left. Going back to a neutral body. Allowing the low back and the hips to soften. And then switch sides, slide both knees in towards you. Left knee into the chest. Maybe heel toeing that right foot a little bit wider. Feel free to use your block underneath the foot and hug the left knee in. Of course, this side is going to look different than the other side. So make whatever arrangements you need to. Settle down, shoulders, back of the neck. If you're noticing any stagnation in the body, maybe move through the toes or the ankles to release that. So the sacrum is flat. And it's almost like the tailbone is unfurling towards the end of the mat. I'm staying for another 7 breaths. Spine softening. Two more rounds of breath. And then the left leg will come down. And the right, finding your neutral body. Legs comfortably apart. Again, we'll slide the heels towards the hips. We're going to roll off to one side and come up to a seat. Then once you're up, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe block the knees. And you could bring a bolster with you. as we move into a forward fold here. So we're going to release and round forward. And bend the elbows to capture the forehead. And here, let the chin and the shoulders be heavy. So if you don't need the blocks, you could also use the blocks underneath the forehead. Take your time. Find the position that's best for your body this morning. Again, as much support as you need. We'd rather stay backed off a little bit more than trying to push into any sensations. You can rock the forehead back and forth. And here, as you begin to curl in, just notice your reaction to finding this more internal position. Maybe hearing or feeling the breath a little bit more. So we'll pay a little bit more attention to the depth and quality of breath. Just notice if you're finding a little stutter between the inhale and exhale. See if you can smooth out the edges of the breath. Notice if the tongue is engaged and clinging. See if you can soften the jaw. Feel a heaviness in the tongue. Just notice if the mind begins to plan or wander. Maybe even count the length of your breath. It doesn't have to be even. Or count the number of inhales and exhales. Find a way to soften both the breath and the edges of your thoughts. Especially if you're starting to have some repetitious thoughts, just let those repetitious thoughts come to the surface, boil to the surface, and then use the internalizing breath to soften. We're going to stay for another 10 full inhales and exhales, so quite a long hold here. Inhale. Start to peel the chest up. You can place props off to the side. And then we'll assist the knees closed. Slide the hands to the backs of the legs and just rock back slightly, curling in. A little low back adjustment. And lift the chest. We're going to move into a simple twist. We'll let the left shin come down and hug the right knee in. So we're holding the shin to the chest, growing a little bit taller. And again, you could have some support underneath the left knee if you'd like. And you could also use the strap here. So a version of our Lord of the Fishes pose. So if you wanted to, you could strap, making a nice big belt around the torso, the low back. I'll just demonstrate what that would look like. You have the strap all around over the shin. You belt. Just remember that the belt area should be somewhere where you can control it. And then we'll hug the knee in and twist. Like I said, a little support maybe underneath the left leg, or even a block in the right hand behind you to press down and hug. So feeling the sits bones drop down if you're using the belt. There's also a little bit of play here where you can rock back slightly, but if you don't have the belt, that's fine. And be nice and safe on the shoulders. Let the shoulders drop out of the ears. And feel the sits bones press down into the ground as you lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist. Soften the gaze or close the eyes. Five more rounds of breath. Inhale to unwind. Release the belt if you have one. We'll extend both legs out in front. Take the hands behind you. And we'll just press into the floor. Let the head drop back. Opening up the throat. You could wiggle the legs if you wanted to. Second side. Sliding the feet in. Right shin down. Hug the left knee in. We're moving from this compression. It's had this compression into extension. From asymmetrical to symmetrical. Finding these dichotomies in the body and trying to cultivate some balance. Hug again if you need support, use the support. 15 long breaths. Notice if the shoulders are creeping up into the ears, and soften and slide the shoulder blades back down. Five more breaths, following the inhales and exhales. Nope. And then unwind yourself and sliding out of the belt. Hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Let the head drop back, really lifting the sternum up. That squeeze in the shoulder blades, creating a little shelf for the head. Dropping the chin back down. Walk yourself forward and up. And then we're going to rotate to all fours. You know, your block's relatively close. You could place the blocks towards the top of your mat for just a couple of lunges. We'll bring our bolster, if you have one, or rolled up blanket, just in front of the knees. And then you'll step the right foot forward and lunge forward. And we'll take the foot a little bit wider, so both blocks are to the inside. And this is our lizard lunge. You can come down onto the forearms and just let the head hang. A little stretch in the groin. And as I said, we're moving from the gross body, the physical body, to the subtle body. So we'll begin to do a little bit more breath visualization as we begin to clear and clean out the energetic lines in the body. Here, The two places that we're looking for are the energetic lines from the outside of your right leg going up into the liver, and the inside of the left leg up through the groin to the gallbladder. So inhale and exhale. Bring some energetic movement. And watching, and can even envision a like water or light traveling up these energetic channels, cleansing. Just 2 more rounds of breath. Taking the hands to the blocks to press yourself back. We'll bring that right leg around. In a little mini child's pose here, reach the hips back. You can just let the forehead drop down. And you can have the arms and hands supported by your blocks if you've got them. Go ahead and shift back forward, moving to your second side. Taking your time to get set up in a way that feels right for you this morning. Left foot a little bit wider. And when you're ready, coming down. Draw away from the skull. Outside of the left foot, up into the liver, inside of the right leg. Washing and cleansing the gallbladder. 2 more breaths. And you'll shift back to a child's pose. Inhale to peel the chest up. And we'll set up for our meditation, guided meditation. My suggestion is to bring the bolster underneath for the legs. And then you can take your blocks and have the hands kind of lifted and resting on tops of the blocks. If that's not accessible or if that does not feel right for you, you could just lie down. And of course, you're more than welcome to find a seat. So create maybe a blanket on the feet if you'd like to, or over the body. Start to settle in. Shifting awareness back into the breath, the quality of breath, the length of your breath. And we'll just travel back in time slightly. We'll go through and imagine shapes that you are just making with your body. For a moment, just notice a time when you felt challenged. And bring awareness to the sensation of that emotion. Are you feeling mentally challenged or physically challenged? Or maybe you don't know, and that's fine too. And then a time when you felt completely at ease. And where did that highlight in your body? The sensation of feeling ease. And a time when maybe you felt surprised. And curious. Maybe a time when you felt like you'd had quite about enough of this and you'd like to move on to something else. And then a time when you felt like you were just in exactly the right place. And start to go through and highlight points of the body. Allow the hands to, if they're not palm face up, allow the hands to come palm face up so you can feel the distance between each finger. Your low back and legs comfortable. If you need to shift and arrange and change, go right ahead. And then as if there are little bright white lights, to draw attention to the tip of each toe on your left foot. Do the same with your right foot. And then the sole of your left foot and the sole of your right foot. Bright white little light. The left ankle followed by the right ankle. The left knee and the right knee. Little bright white light on the left hip and then on the right hip. Just envisioning these little glowing stars on top of each toe, ankle, knee, and hip. And then right in the middle of the pubis, to the belly button. To the left shoulder and right shoulder. Seeing all of these bright white lights. Then work through the tip of each finger on the left hand. The thumb, pointer, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, just like you did with the tips of the toes. And each tip of the finger on the left hand. The right wrist and left wrist. Into both elbows. And the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, ankles, wrists, knee, elbow joint, hip on the right and left side, the shoulder on the right and left side, pubis bone, belly button, now to the pit of the throat. And then to the heart space. The brow point. Both of the earlobes, and then the tips of the ears. Each toe, finger, wrist, the ankles, knees, elbows, shoulders, hips, and the points right at the pubis bone, belly button, heart space, pit of the throat, earlobes, tips of the ears, brow point, and then the crown of the head. Just allow yourself to see and feel all of these points in the body, sparkling and illuminated. Then, as if these points could begin to hover in the sky above you. And start to see all these points illuminating and beginning to become like light, bright, and hover just above the physical body. Seeing yourself as a constellation, hovering right above you. Continue to allow yourself to envision this constellation maybe hovering a little bit higher, so that you can see yourself reflected as if you were in a pool or a pond or the ocean at night. The physical body and this ethereal floating constellation of yourself. And then as you inhale, allow your star points to grow a little bit bigger. And as you exhale, allow them to dim slightly. So that as you inhale, these lights begin to connect into one another. And as you exhale, beginning to pulse. Eventually, the inhale and this light connection just become one bright light. And allow that bright white light hovering to begin to slowly descend back to the physical body. So you can see yourself cocooned in one bright white light. As you inhale and exhale, start to draw that pulsating light smaller and smaller until it's just nestled right into your chest. And take your time using the breath, slowly drawing the light in closer and closer until it's nestled in. And maybe taking the palms and placing them right over that bright white light, pressing it physically into the body. You can let the hands drop down. Begin to deepen the breath. Inhaling through the nose, maybe exhaling through the mouth. And start to wake up the physical body, whether it's wiggling through the fingers and the toes or full body stretch. And of course, you're more than welcome to stay just as you are for as long as you would like. Or you'll begin to draw a little bit more movement to the body, shifting and transitioning up to a seat. And once you're up, some neck rolls, maybe a twist. And if you'd like to, you can draw the hands together at heart center. Let the chin drop to the chest. Taking a moment to thank yourself for coming to practice. Take a moment to call upon something that you are grateful for right now. Something that you're looking forward to in the future. Make it pretty close future, within the next couple of days. Something that you're looking forward to. I thank you for joining. Be well and safe, as kind as you can be, and know that you are loved. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Hold on.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Lori.